everyone, welcome back to our channel. While I adjust my arse. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? Listen, it is right now 9:30 at night on Monday, all right? And I know I'm recording late, but it's only because I got this email and I wanted to get this out as soon as I could, okay? Get yourself comfortable, right? But listen, this, okay, you guys have heard of the rail union, okay, for the railroads. Okay, well, they rejected the deal, so it's renewing the possibility of a strike, okay? Now, this is the third largest railroad union, and it has rejected the deal, okay, with freight railroads today, okay, and it is renewing the possibility of a strike that could cripple the economy. So here we go again. Okay, but this is why we prep, right? This is why we prepare for things like this, okay? But before that could happen, both sides will return to the bargaining table, okay? So, I mean, they could return to the table tomorrow morning. We don't know, okay? But about 56% of the track maintenance workers that are represented by the Brotherhood of Maintenance of Way Employees Division Union, who voted opposed the 5-year contract, even though it included 24% in raises and $5,000 in bonuses, okay? The union president, his name is Tony Cardwell, said that the railroads did not do enough to address worker concerns about the lack of paid time off, particularly with sick time, and demanding work conditions after the major railroad eliminated nearly 1/3 of their jobs over the past 6 years. So railroaders are discouraged and they're upset, which rightfully so. You work in this kind of a job. It's not like it's easy labor, right? They're not happy with their working conditions, their compensation, and they hold their employer in low regard. Happy workplace, happy employee, that type of thing, So they do not feel valued, and they resent the fact that the management holds no regard for their quality of life. And it's illustrated by their stubborn reluctance to provide a higher quality of paid time off, especially for when these people get sick. So the railroads, they did not immediately comment on the rejected contract, because of course they're not going to say, well, anything is set in stone. They don't want to tarnish anything yet, right? So 4 other of the railroad unions have approved their agreements with the freight railroads that include BNSF, Union Pacific, Kansas City Southern, CSX, and Norfolk Southern. But all 12 unions that represent a total of 115,000 workers must ratify their contracts to prevent a strike. And one other union, which is the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, they initially rejected its deal because it has since renegotiated a new contract, and the voting is not going to be complete until the middle of November. But Potato, because you got to throw him in the mix, he put pressure on the railroads and the unions to reach a deal last month ahead of the middle of September, because there was a deadline to allow a strike or a walkout. And many businesses also urged Congress to be ready to intervene in this dispute and block a strike if an agreement was not reached, because so many companies, they rely on the railroads to deliver their raw materials and their finished products. So in general, the deals that these unions agreed to closely follow the recommendations a special panel of arbitrators that Potato appointed made this summer. And the Presidential Emergency Board has recommended what would be the biggest raises that railroad workers have seen in more than 4 decades. But it does not resolve the union's concerns about their working conditions. Instead, it said that the unions should pursue additional negotiations or arbitration that can take years with each railroad individually. And the Brotherhood of Maintenance of Way Union, they said it agreed to delay any strike until 5 days after the Congress reconvenes in mid-November to allow time for additional negotiations. That's a good thing, but if it can take years to really satisfy the workers of each railroad company, this could really, really put a kink in all of the supply chain and things like that. At least I think it does. Alright guys, that's all for this video. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. Alright, I'll see you tomorrow. You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping, and as always, fearless. Ciao.